Hey everyone, welcome back to MangaMinute. I'm thrilled to share my latest recap video with you. If you missed the previous one, no worries, just take a quick peek in the description below for the link.
With an annoyed expression, Elizabeth firmly stated, "Everything else is mine. Don't even think about it." Quick to divert attention, Leping responded, "There is nothing to serve you. I'm really sorry." Shifting the conversation, he then inquired, "By the way, Uncle Bruce, how did you get attacked?" Bruce promptly explained, "As Mr. Leping can see, it was because of the elf bloodline in Evil's body." Evil added, "My mother was the saintess of the elf race, and she gave birth to me after falling in love with my father. But the elf race forbids intermarriage with other races." Leping nodded in understanding. "Oh, so it's the elves who are trying to catch you?" Elizabeth swiftly intervened. "That's absurd. The ban on intermarriage between races was lifted ages ago, after the Demon Queen brought unity to the world." Bruce, with a resigned expression, let out a sigh before delving into his tale. "It's a lengthy narrative. Ever since Evil's mother was compelled to return to the Elf Holy Land, I took Evil and went into hiding." Reflecting on his past, he added, "Due to my wife's sacrifice, when she returned to the Elf tribe, they chose to spare us. However, this time, it's the envoys of the Dark Guild from the Demon Realm who are after us." "I understand. So, even though the elves spared you, they eventually discovered your whereabouts and sent people to apprehend you." He glanced toward Elizabeth, continuing, "Demon Realm? Dark Guild? Could it be?" Elizabeth, feeling accused, retorted, "Hey, what do you mean by that?" Seeking clarification, Elizabeth turned to Bruce and exclaimed, "Explain to me clearly, where did the Dark Guild in the Demon Realm come from, and why are they capturing elves?" With a regretful expression, Bruce continued, "It is said that the Dark Guild is conducting mysterious human experiments, trying to resurrect the Demon Queen who once unified the world." Elizabeth. Evil quickly chimed in, adding, "The elves are one of their materials, so much so that even I, who have not awakened my bloodline, have become their target." Listening intently, Elizabeth retorted, "Don't think I don't know what you're thinking," as she grabbed Leping by his collar. Apologizing, Leping remarked, I know for sure you've been here all along. Calm down." Trying to soothe the enraged Elizabeth. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Elizabeth exclaimed, "It seems that in just 1 year, there have been earth-shattering changes outside. Who told you that the Demon Queen was already dead?" Hearing that, Bruce exclaimed, "Isn't she? The Demon Queen Elizabeth has been missing for 500 years. If she were still alive, she would have come back to rule the world long ago." Explaining the outside world's current situation. Shocked, Leping pondered inwardly, 500 years? Elizabeth has only been living here for a little over a year. With a calm expression, Elizabeth exclaimed, "Oh, did the rumor say how she died?" Explaining further, Bruce said, "According to the literature, the Demon Queen Elizabeth was killed by the legendary hero." Evil added, "It is said that the battle lasted for a whole month, and finally the legendary hero sacrificed himself to protect the hero continent and died with the evil Demon Queen." Feeling the intensity of Elizabeth's aura, Evil remarked, "Dad, what is this boundary again?" Bruce replied, "No, this is pure killing intent." With a grim expression, Elizabeth declared, "That rumor is false." "Yes." Bruce and Evil both replied in unison. As the conversation unfolded, Leping added, "That's right, because I am that legendary hero." Gazing towards Elizabeth, he continued, "And she is the Demon Queen you speak of, Elizabeth." Elizabeth, misunderstanding Leping's words as mockery once again. He mock her for me, the Demon Queen. She's been imprisoned here. Quick, laugh at her." Enraged, Elizabeth responded, "Enough." As Elizabeth stormed off towards her room, she pondered inwardly, "Stinky Leping, I get it. You saved these people just to humiliate me. You've gone too far." Coming to her own conclusion about Leping's actions. Trembling, Bruce inquired, "Mr. Leping, sorry to cause you a trouble, but what are your plans for the future?" Leping hastily responded, "I'm not sure either. Let's take a moment to compose ourselves." As the realization dawned on him, he reflected inwardly. It appears that since Elizabeth broke the time barrier, time here has become chaotic and out of sync. Until it fully synchronizes, it's been 500 years for us. Whispering to her father, Evil exclaimed, I never expected that the truth of 500 years ago would be like this. The demon queen fell in love with the legendary hero and chose to forsake the world and hide away. Just like you did. Responding in a hushed tone, her father, Bruce, replied, We have no right to compare ourselves to them. Mr. Luping advised us to calm down first. He must be contemplating whether to spare us or not. Let's not speak nonsense. Evil retorted quietly. But if Mr. Luping intends to harm us, why did he save us in the first place? Bruce replied, Just as they nonchalantly aided us in reaching the advanced stage with the sacred tea, nearly suffocating us. In their eyes, we're no different from ants. Whether to spare or kill, it's all at their whim. Suddenly, someone burst into their room and exclaimed, Why are you still awake at this late hour? What are you doing? Abruptly, it was Luping who entered. If you haven't slept yet, how about playing cards? Perplexed, Bruce echoed, Cards. And so, they gathered around, ready to engage in the game. As Luping finished explaining the rules, he declared, I've just explained the rules? Are you clear? Bruce responded hastily, Yes, roughly. Upon hearing this, Luping declared, Well, then I'll start dealing the cards. With a curious expression, Evil dared to ask, Mr. Luping, may I inquire about the name of this game? As she glanced at the cards, she couldn't shake the feeling of a sinister aura emanating from them. Hearing her inquiry, Luping exclaimed, Oh, that really stumps me. Let me think. After a moment of contemplation, he continued, Got it. Let's call it Dragon Fight. Surprised, both Evil and Bruce exclaimed, Dragon Fight! Meanwhile, Elizabeth, who had stealthily entered the room using her high-level magic concealment technique, wondered, What? Dragon Fight? What the hell does he want? Attempting to clarify, Luping explained, It's kind of like that. You two brave heroes have to join forces to defeat the dragon. We can decide whether to be the hero or the dragon according to the cards we draw. Bruce, speaking in a whispering tone to Evil, remarked, Sure enough, this is a test for us. In their imagination, they misinterpreted Luping's words as, I'll start dealing cards now. Remember, think carefully before you choose. As the cards were dealt, Luping remarked, Look at my cards first, you guys. Hurry up too. Bruce, poised to begin the game, warned Evil, There's no room for hesitation now. Take your cards. As they touched the dealt cards, they felt as though they were being transported into a strange realm. Realizing this, Bruce exclaimed, Another realm? Meanwhile, Evil struggled to withstand the pressure, remarking, Not good. Just picking up the cards drained all my magic power. With a trembled voice, she continued, Dad, I'm sorry Her dad, understanding the struggle she was facing, reassured her, It's okay. Leave the rest to Dad. With a card on his hand, Luping offered, Do you want to be a dragon? As he observed his card, he contemplated. Although there are not many big cards, it's still a very good set. It also has big and small kings, not bad. Bruce responded promptly, I don't want to. Evil chimed in agreement. Me neither. Undeterred by their refusal, Luping pressed on, Are you sure you don't want to? With a sly grin, he selected another card from the deck, declaring, Then I won't be polite. However, much to his astonishment, the cards he revealed didn't quite live up to his expectations. Seeing the changed mood on Luping's face, Evil and Bruce pondered, Is Mr. Luping dissatisfied with our performance? Taking charge of the game, Luping announced, I'll play first. An 8. Now it's your turn, Uncle Bruce. Bruce deliberated, his mind racing. As long as we pass this test, Mr. Luping will spare us. So we can't give up. With determination in his voice, he prepared to make his move, adding, Every time we play a card, it's at the cost of our life force. With a flourish, declaring, A jack. Seeing Bruce struggling, Evil couldn't help but intervene, calling out, Dad! Bruce reassured her quickly, I'm fine. Leave it to me. When Evil's turn arrived, she simply said, I pass. Observing the unfolding dynamics, Luping mused to himself, Apart from the royal flush, there's a straight from 7 to Q, 3 4s with a pair of 5s. Only 10 and Jack are left. Should I break the pair or not? If I do, they'll likely play a 2, putting me at a disadvantage. After a moment's consideration, he concluded, Forget it. I'll pass too. Hearing this, Bruce was taken aback. Huh, what? Do you really not want it? Feeling the pressure mounting, he pondered. Mr. Leping is deliberately making me continue to play cards. It's draining my life force even more. In this situation, I have to get rid of all my cards as soon as possible. Bruce laid out his hand, triumphantly declaring, according to the rules, this combination of cards should be called Flying Dragon. Despite the immense pressure of the game, he reflected, the price for this is a leg. The bigger the cards I play, the bigger the price. Meanwhile, Leping, hailing from another world, appeared unfazed, viewing it simply as a card game. Observing the card on the deck, Leping remarked, well played. I don't want it, you go on, graciously allowing Bruce to continue his turn. Bruce, seizing the opportunity, exclaimed, okay, I understand, as he confidently laid down a spades card, declaring, a 3. Evil, meanwhile, simply stated, pass. Then it was Leping's turn. With a smirk, he declared, it's my turn. His expression mischievous as he proclaimed, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, Jack and Queen. It's a straight. With a flourish, he revealed his card. A sudden surge of energy erupted, resembling a massive wave. Taken aback, Bruce's eyes widened in shock as he shouted, sky-destroying wave. The wave-like energy quickly overwhelmed Bruce and Evil. Panting heavily, Evil and Bruce exclaimed, ha! Ah! I can't hold it any longer. However, Leping wasn't finished yet. He continued, undeterred, okay, then next is 3 of a kind with a pair, summoning forth another energy resembling a warrior on a chariot. Seeing this, Bruce trembled, realizing, no way, I can't beat it. But then, unexpectedly, Evil exclaimed, wait, I want it. Looking at his daughter with concern, Bruce warned, don't, that's paying with your life force as the price. Evil, however, remained resolute. I can't always hide behind. I also want to protect Dad. With determination, she revealed her cards, declaring, 3 of a kind with a pair, summoning a similar type of energy as Leping. The energies of these two clashed, ready for the showdown. As the clash of energies subsided, Evil emerged victorious, her determination shining through. Despite her triumph, Bruce couldn't help but worry about his daughter's well-being. Evil, are you okay? With a reassuring smile, Evil replied, I'm fine. Witnessing Evil's resolve, Leping offered words of encouragement. You have to protect your teammates even if you have to break your own cards. That's right, the most important thing is determination, he affirmed, his gaze shifting between the couple. Contemplating their progress, he marveled. I didn't expect them to get the hang of playing cards so quickly. However, Leping's expression grew solemn as he revealed his double joker cards. But, it's just too late, he murmured. Summoning his most powerful card, Leping cracked open a dimensional rift, revealing a formidable monster with a grim expression. The atmosphere in the room grew tense as the true extent of Leping's power was unveiled. Present at the scene, Elizabeth felt a sense of foreboding. This is bad. This ominous feeling. Damn it, what did he summon? What Leping had just summoned was a Supreme Clown King, a level 3-star demon. Appearing on the scene, the Joker demon noticed Elizabeth peeking at the card game. With a taunting tone, it addressed her. What are you peeking at? Be careful, I might just hurt you. Licking its knife menacingly. Enraged by the taunt, Elizabeth exclaimed, Who do you think you're looking down on? She readied herself to confront the Joker demon head-on. Overwhelmed by the Joker's overwhelming presence, Bruce lamented, Evil, I'm sorry. Dad is powerless. With a regretful expression, Evil replied, How can you blame yourself? It's all my fault. I annoyed Mr. Leping. Struggling under the immense pressure, Bruce thought, My life force is draining like... He couldn't finish his words as he began vomiting blood, accidentally revealing his cards. Concerned, Leping exclaimed, Uncle Bruce, are you okay? Observing Bruce's bloody condition, Leping pondered, It seems his injury hasn't healed yet? Examining the revealed cards, Leping continued, Uncle could have won a long time ago. He was just letting me play with him. I was naive and thought I was very good. But actually, I disturbed his rest. Unaware of the true gravity of the situation, Leping misunderstood the events as a simple disruption to Bruce and Evil's rest. Hastily, He gathered the scattered cards, tidying them up in an attempt to rectify the disturbance. It was so much fun. Get some rest and sorry for the trouble, he said, preparing to leave the room and allow the father-daughter couple to rest. Relieved to have been spared from disaster, Bruce muttered with a disbelieving expression, "The legendary hero, he's really hard to figure out. We're still alive." Meanwhile, Elizabeth, fueled by her rage, prepared to confront the summoned demon Joker. Enraged, she declared, "How ridiculous! Playing cards with these two people is a ruse. The real plan is to seize the opportunity to strike the queen," mistaking Lu Ping's intention entirely. Lu Ping extended a warm invitation, tinged with genuine hospitality. "Uncle Bruce, do you really not want to stay for a few more days? The fruits I planted are almost ripe." Bruce, with a respectful nod, declined graciously. "We can't bother you two anymore. Mr. Lu Ping's great kindness and grace, we will never forget." As he bowed for his deep appreciation, Lu Ping chuckled softly. "Oh my, don't make it sound so serious." Bruce reassured him. "Please rest assured, after we go out, we won't say anything indiscreet." Evil chimed in, adding her gratitude. "Mr. Lu Ping, you still want to give us such precious gifts." Lu Ping, scratching his head in a gesture of modesty, continued, "Hee, just ordinary barley tea, don't mind." As he handed over the cards to Bruce, he added, "You can take it. My card skills are too bad. I'm not suitable at all." Bruce's eyes widened in appreciation as he exclaimed, "Ah, this?" Before more could be said, Elizabeth interjected urgently, her gestures conveying a sense of urgency. "Hurry up and get out of here." Understanding Elizabeth's mood, Bruce and Evil made their exit without further delay, respecting her unspoken wishes. Watching them depart, Elizabeth declared triumphantly, "All right, everything is back to normal. Go make some food for this queen," as she made her way back into the house. As Bruce hurriedly left Lu Ping's house behind, panic gripped him, urging him to run as fast as his legs could carry him, with Evil in tow. Evil, struggling to keep up, cried out, Stop for a moment, Dad. I can't do it anymore." Halting abruptly, Bruce gasped for breath, his mind still racing from the events of the previous day. With a solemn tone, he recounted. First it was the game test of the legendary hero, then it was the threat of the Demon King. Each word weighed heavily on his mind as he struggled to regain his composure. Recalling Elizabeth's commanding presence and her chilling decree from the day before, Bruce's expression turned grave. "I, Elizabeth, command you to leave this place tomorrow, and you must not reveal any information about this Demon Queen and the legendary hero's presence here to the outside world." Under the weight of Elizabeth's command, both Evil and Bruce obediently responded, "Yes, Your Majesty." Elizabeth's words rang in their ears as she pressed on with a dire warning, her gaze piercing through their resolve. "If you have any slightest idea of going against this queen's will, the curse mark on your neck will make you lose your head immediately." Bruce's expression trembled as he murmured, his voice fraught with the weight of history. The truth of history is that the Demon Queen who once ruled the world and the legendary hero, Lu Ping, grew weary of the ceaseless conflict and sought solace from the world's turmoil. But before Bruce could delve deeper into his thoughts, Evil's interjection startled him. "Dad, this place looks familiar," she murmured urgently, her eyes scanning their surroundings. Startled by Evil's words, Bruce glanced around in confusion. "Huh! Did we run that far?" he exclaimed, his mind reeling as he tried to make sense of their location. In reality, their journey hadn't been as fast-paced as it seemed. Wang Qin, Lu Ping's electronic pet, had aided them in their run, leading them to this familiar yet dangerous place. As Evil recognized the surroundings, her voice carried a mix of recognition and apprehension. "The corpses of the Dark Guild Apostle, they're still here." Bruce's senses immediately went on high alert. "There must be all sorts of high-level demons nearby," he warned urgently. "We need to leave this place as soon as possible." But before they could make their escape, Bruce's intuition proved true. A mob of people appeared, blocking Bruce and Evil's path. Among them stood the Dark Guild Apostle, a formidable 2-star level demon spirit, accompanied by his loyal subordinates. Recognizing the figures closing in around them, Bruce's eyes widened with shock as he exclaimed, That's the Great Apostle!" Surrounded by the ominous presence of the Dark Guild Apostles, Evil's urgency grew. The gap in strength is too vast, she urged, her voice tinged with desperation. Just let me go with them, Dad. You have to run. But Bruce's resolve remained firm in the face of danger. Yes, the difference in strength is indeed immense, he acknowledged, his voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. But after witnessing the power of those two, these apostles are nothing. Drawing strength from the memento gifted by Lu Ping, Bruce's demeanor shifted. I was once known as the iron-hearted Bruce of the heroes, he declared boldly. Confidence emanated from his every word as he continued. Ever since your mom returned to the elf tribe, I've been too timid, too afraid to confront our problems head-on. But escaping won't solve anything. If we can overcome this trial. His voice softened with sincerity as he made a promise to his daughter. I'll take you to the elf tribe, and together, we'll bring your mom back to reunite our family. Just like I did when I journeyed after her by myself. Bruce acted swiftly, drawing the cards forth. The cards' power summoned forth a powerful spirit to their aid. Evil's eyes widened in disbelief as she beheld the apparition. Mom! She gasped, her voice barely above a whisper. Meanwhile, Bruce wasted no time, his voice commanding, Play your card! The summoned spirit heeded Bruce's call, conjuring a magical arrow and unleashing it upon their foes with precision. The Dark Guild apostles fell one by one, unable to withstand the onslaught. Even the formidable boss, the Dark Guild apostle 2-stars level demon spirit, struggled to resist before succumbing to defeat. With the enemies vanquished, Bruce collapsed to his knees, his strength depleted. Concern etched across her features. Evil rushed to her father's side. Dad! She exclaimed, her voice trembling with worry. Gasping for breath, Bruce managed to speak between heavy pants. It seems I should change my profession. And thus, from that moment on, a new profession was born in the hero's continent, the card master. Lu Ping savored the sweetness of the sliced watermelon, his thoughts drifting to the wonders of the magical hybrid world. Majestic hybrid, the magical world is truly amazing, he mused aloud to himself. My hybrid fruit breeding method has been remarkably successful. But even amidst the bountiful harvest, there's always a sense of something missing. I once believed I was content with peaceful farming, but as I came into contact with the outside world, my heart began to yearn for more. It's human nature, isn't it? To obtain one thing and desire two. Yet, I am too weak to pursue it. Meanwhile, Elizabeth lounged comfortably in her chair, enjoying her iced drink, her sharp eyes catching Lu Ping's despondent demeanor. You look quite down, what's on your mind? Lu Ping sighed, his longing evident in his response. I want to go out and see something, but forget it. I am too weak. Elizabeth chuckled softly at his self-deprecation. Ah, so you're finally eager to venture beyond this place? Well, then come with me for a trip, she offered, her gaze piercing yet playful. The outside world may not compare to yours, but your attitude is far too arrogant. Lu Ping's eyes widened in excitement at the unexpected invitation. Really? He exclaimed, his excitement palpable. But Elizabeth wasted no time in reining in his enthusiasm. Stop talking nonsense. Change your clothes, she commanded, her tone leaving no room for argument. As they made final preparations to depart, Elizabeth couldn't help but offer praise. I have to say your cooking and sewing skills are very impressive, she remarked, acknowledging Lu Ping's talents. Lu Ping, filled with pride, responded confidently, Of course, these are my specialties. Without missing a beat, Elizabeth summoned a portal with a flick of her finger. Let's go through here. It'll take us to the nearest town, she announced, her demeanor matter-of-fact. Lu Ping marveled at the sight of the portal. Wow! What a convenient skill, he exclaimed in awe. As they began walking towards the portal, Lu Ping hesitated and voiced his concerns. Wait, Elizabeth. I have a few questions. After we go out, will you leave me alone? Can you keep your emotions stable? Can you act low-key? However, in Elizabeth's mind, she interpreted Lu Ping's requests differently. 1. Without my permission, you can't leave. 2. Control your temper. 3. Don't use magic recklessly, it will ruin my fun of experiencing the life of ordinary people. With a hint of fear in his expression, Lu Ping continued, Finally, after seeing the changes outside, will you come back with me? Unbeknownst to Elizabeth, Lu Ping's questions stemmed from a deep-seated worry. With the novice village's protection barrier long gone, and without the protection of the demon queen, Ping feared becoming prey to demon beasts within minutes. His concerns were entirely contrary to what Elizabeth had imagined, highlighting a stark misunderstanding between them. With an annoyed tone, Elizabeth replied curtly, "Of course." But inwardly, she seethed with anger, plotting her ultimate victory over the evil hero. To her, the outside world held no significance compared to her mission. Hearing her response, Ping couldn't help but express his surprise. "Huh, really?" he questioned, taken aback by her tone. Elizabeth continued, her voice tinged with determination. "But you have to agree to one request from me." Ping, intrigued, asked, "What request?" With a hint of mischief, Elizabeth declared, "When we return, I want you to make me a super deluxe assorted fruit pudding." Ping's confusion was evident as he echoed, "Pudding?" Unfazed, Elizabeth reaffirmed, "Yes. Is there a problem?" Quickly realizing the situation, Ping backtracked. No, let's go," he exclaimed hastily, eager to avoid any further discussion as he hurriedly passed through the portal. Arriving at Boster Town, Ping couldn't contain his excitement at the bustling surroundings. "Wow, this place is amazing. It's like stepping into another world," he exclaimed, his eyes darting around the vibrant streets. "Elizabeth, take a look. There's an equipment shop over here," he called out, hopping around to get a better view of the vendors. "And look at this, they're selling ingredients. But isn't this just regular pork?" Observing the city with a keen eye, Elizabeth remarked, 500 years have passed, and the changes in the outside world don't seem that significant." Ping agreed, he is nodding thoughtfully. "Yeah, it doesn't seem as chaotic as Uncle Bruce said," he commented as he strolled along the bustling street, taking in the sights and sounds. Proudly, Elizabeth recounted her role in shaping the world. "Well, that's because I established a strong foundation during my rule," she declared, her voice brimming with confidence. "You see, before my reign, various forces were in conflict, and the situation was chaotic. I used my absolute strength to suppress them all and established a set of rules where everyone is equal. So, the one who really saved the world was me, not you, the so-called legendary hero." But to her dismay, Ping seemed too preoccupied with exploring the town to pay her statement any heed. Ignored and growing increasingly annoyed, Elizabeth finally snapped, "That bastard. You don't even put my past achievements in your eyes?" As Ping admired the intricately stitched dolls, he couldn't help but praise the craftsmanship. "So good. The stitching details are very well done. Did you make it, little sister?" he inquired, turning to the seller, a young girl who stood behind the stall. The little girl, named Annie, nodded proudly. Yes, I did. If you like it, I can offer it to you at a lower price," she offered with a hopeful smile. But their interaction was abruptly interrupted by a menacing voice. "Hey, who gave you permission to set up a stall here?" The man's arrival cast a shadow over the cheerful atmosphere as he kicked over Annie's belongings. "Stinky girl, your church owes my gang protection money and hasn't paid it yet. How dare you set up a stall in my place?" he spat out angrily. Undeterred, Annie stood her ground. "You never protected us. Why should we pay you protection money?" she retorted defiantly. The man's voice dripped with disdain as he countered, "Idiot! Since last month, this street falls under the territory of our beast gang. If you want to survive here, you must provide monthly tributes." But Annie refused to back down. "That's not true. The church belongs to the nun. When she comes back, you'll be in trouble," she insisted, her voice tinged with determination. Unmoved by her words, the man scoffed. "You're clueless, you don't understand the situation at all, do you? Fine. I'll drive you orphans away today and tear down that broken church." Witnessing Annie being bullied, Ping couldn't stay silent. "Stop!" he shouted, his voice cutting through the tension. The man turned his attention to Ping, his expression filled with hostility. "What the hell do you want to do?" he demanded, his tone aggressive. Caught off guard and unsure how to respond, Ping glanced nervously at Elizabeth, silently pleading for assistance. But Elizabeth remained unmoved, gesturing for him to stay out of it. "Mind your own business. Do you want to toy with these ordinary people again?" "No. I don't want to stoop to your level." Her gesture conveyed her message clearly. Frustrated and feeling cornered, Ping turned back to the man. But before he could gather his thoughts, the man pressed on, demanding an answer. Hey, I'm asking you, what's your intention? He growled, his patience wearing thin. Panicked and desperate, Leping turned to the crowd for support. Everyone, this pig-headed man is bullying a little girl. Come and condemn him. Condemn him, he implored, hoping for assistance. But to his dismay, no one stepped forward to help Annie and him. The pig-headed man sneered at Leping's futile attempt. Ha ha ha, you don't really think anyone will come out to help you, do you? He taunted, his words dripping with malice. Everyone on this street knows our beast gang. Look at the clothes, you're a foreigner from the south, right? Hee, the girl next to you is not bad. Growing increasingly desperate, Leping attempted to defuse the situation. Let's talk things over. I have some local specialties in my backpack. I can share them with you all, he offered, hoping to appease the aggressor. But the pig-headed man paid no heed to Leping's offer, issuing orders to his subordinates. Cut the crap, beat up the man and take the woman back to the gang and lock her up, he commanded, his intentions clear and menacing. Elizabeth, who had remained silent until now, finally spoke up, her voice filled with fury. Do you really think anyone is qualified to imprison me? You just stepped on the tiger's tail. As the tension escalated, the sky darkened and lightning flashed ominously. Realizing the danger of Elizabeth's wrath, Leping desperately tried to calm her down. Don't do it, you'll destroy the whole town. Calm down, calm down. Just scare them. You wouldn't actually fight ordinary people like this, would you? He implored, his voice laced with urgency. Thankfully, Elizabeth heeded his words and relented. Humph. I'll spare him because of you, she conceded, her anger slowly subsiding. Annie, the young girl who had been bullied, marveled at Elizabeth's immense power. Wow, that sister's magic is so powerful, she exclaimed in awe, her eyes wide with wonder. Meanwhile, the pig-headed man, still bewildered by the sudden turn of events, muttered in confusion. Is it? Is it going to rain? His voice tinged with uncertainty as he glanced nervously at the darkening sky above. The man attempted to maintain his bravado, despite feeling a growing sense of unease. You too want to stand up for these church orphans? He threatened, though inwardly he couldn't shake off the feeling of nervousness creeping over him. Leping, ever the negotiator, proposed a compromise. How about this, you tell me how much money you want for protection, he suggested, trying to defuse the situation. Quickly seizing the opportunity, the man demanded, It's 10 gold coins for 2 months in total. Elizabeth, unimpressed by the paltry demand, interjected with a scoff. Hey, a mere 10 gold coins and you make a big fuss. Utterly foolish, she remarked dismissively. Turning to Elizabeth, Leping couldn't help but inquire, By the way, Elizabeth, you must have a lot of gold coins, right? But Elizabeth refuted the assumption with a wave of her hand. Nonsense. I have so many treasures that I can't count them all, she replied nonchalantly. Undeterred, Leping persisted, suggesting, How about you lend me some? I'll sell the vegetables from my home and pay you back later. But Elizabeth shot down the idea immediately. Idiot, you want to use my food to exchange for those useless things? That won't do. Besides, I didn't bring any when I came to find you, she retorted, her tone firm. Interrupting their exchange, the man grew increasingly agitated. Hey, do you guys have any? He demanded impatiently. Leping, realizing he had no gold coins to offer, attempted to negotiate with what he had. Well, I don't have any gold coins. Can I use the local products in my bag to make up for it? He proposed. Enraged by Leping's response, the man's patience reached its limit. Are you playing with me, huh? Enough, he snapped, preparing to confront Leping and Elizabeth head-on. But before he could act, a pouch of gold coins flew through the air and struck him on the head, causing him to stagger back in surprise. Furious, the man demanded to know who had thrown the coins. As a figure approached, he realized it was Hawthorne, a centaur knight known for his sense of justice. Stop harassing my friend and get out of here as soon as you get the money, Hawthorne commanded sternly, his presence intimidating the would-be aggressor. Realizing the knight's identity, the pig-headed man begrudgingly acknowledged, Haha, it turns out to be from the sword, St. Guild Thunder Seabuckthorn. Okay, I'll give you some face, he conceded, preparing to leave Annie alone. Let's go, but you won't be this lucky next month, he warned before turning to depart. Annie expressed her gratitude, saying, Thank you all. Meanwhile, Ping also expressed his thanks and offered some fruits as a token of appreciation. Thank you. I have some fruits here. If you don't mind, please accept it, he said, pulling out some bananas from his bag. The centaur knight, Hawthorne, chuckled in response. Haha, don't worry, it's a trivial matter, he reassured them. Then, turning his attention to Elizabeth, he added, but, if you're willing, I'd like you to partner with me on something. Curious about the proposition, Annie inquired, partner? What can I help you with? Hawthorne explained, let's go somewhere else to talk. If this works out, I think it can also solve your financial problems. Elizabeth, however, swiftly rejected the offer. I'm not interested. Ping, let's go, she stated firmly, already moving to leave. Ping, feeling torn between gratitude and curiosity, panicked at Elizabeth's dismissive attitude. Ah, no, don't leave. Someone just helped us out. Let's at least see what they have to say. Okay? He pleaded, attempting to persuade Elizabeth to hear Hawthorne's proposal. Standing firm at the entrance of the tavern, Hawthorne issued a stern warning. Once we enter the tavern, stay close to me, he instructed, emphasizing the importance of sticking together in the crowded establishment. Inside the tavern, a boisterous crowd was gathered, enjoying their drinks and revelry. As the group walked in, one of the patrons eyed Elizabeth and lewdly called out, Hey, babe, the men around you look like trash. Want to come over here instead? Elizabeth's fury flared instantly. Say that again? She challenged, her voice icy and dangerous. The man's bravado evaporated, and he shrank back in fear, realizing he had crossed the wrong person. Turning her frustration towards Ping, Elizabeth vented her anger. It's all your fault for insisting on coming to this lousy place and wasting my time, she complained, directing her glare at him as she voiced her displeasure. As they arrived in front of the door, Hawthorne welcomed his guests inside the private room. Ah, we're here. This way, please. Go into this private room, and there won't be any outsiders to bother us, he urged, holding the door open for them. Upon entering, they were greeted by a group of 4 girls who surrounded Hawthorne eagerly. Master, you're finally back? One of them exclaimed, expressing her relief. Another chimed in, I was so worried about you. I wanted to go out and look for you. A third girl pleaded, Master, pat my head, while the fourth added, Master, take me with you next time. Noticing his guest's surprise, Hawthorne casually mentioned, I forgot to mention, I have a few wives here too. Ping, taken aback by the revelation, couldn't help but express his disbelief. Your wives? He echoed, his eyes widening in astonishment. As they all settled around the round table, Hawthorne proceeded to introduce each of his wives. Let me introduce them to you, he said, gesturing towards each girl in turn. First of all, this one next to me is Gasha. Her profession is a shield warrior, he explained, indicating the girl in red cloth. He continued with the introductions, pointing out the assassin Lolo, the mage Glee, and finally, the elven archer Gilia. Upon seeing Gilia, Ping remarked, Elf race. Huh? I met a girl with elf bloodline a while ago. However, Elizabeth, growing impatient, interjected, Enough with the small talk. It's a waste of time. What's your business? We need to leave. Annoyed by Elizabeth's demeanor, Gasha retorted, Master, what's the deal with this woman? Her attitude is really annoying. Elizabeth remained unfazed, insisting, This is how this queen is. Do you have any opinions? Lolo and Gilia, sharing similar sentiments, couldn't help but express their amusement. It's really funny. She even calls herself a queen. Master, is this woman's brain okay? Lolo teased, while Gilia remarked, Look at the shape of her ears. She's probably a lowly half-breed with a bit of elven blood, right? What's she doing in front of me? Their comments dripping with disdain. Elizabeth's anger escalated upon hearing the girl's remarks, her expression growing grim as she issued a warning. If you insist on bringing destruction upon yourself, then don't blame this queen, she declared, her tone laced with authority. Sensing the tension in the air, Ping swiftly retrieved something from his bag, offering it to Elizabeth in an attempt to placate her. Here, he said, hoping to alleviate her anger. Upon seeing her favorite snack, Elizabeth's mood brightened considerably. Pudding? She exclaimed, her demeanor softening at the sight of the treat. Relieved that his gesture had worked, Ping couldn't help but murmur to himself, Phew! Luckily, I was prepared. Turning his attention to the others, Luping began to explain their background. Actually, we come from a very distant and nameless tribe to travel here. She is the princess of that tribe, Elizabeth, and I am her servant, Luping. Upon hearing this explanation, the girls were taken aback. No wonder your behavior and manners are so strange. You are a tribal princess who has never seen the world, one remarked. Another quickly chimed in, and your name is Elizabeth, right? You're from that uncivilized tribe that worships the demon queen in the demon realm. Ha. Luping continued his explanation, revealing Elizabeth's lack of exposure to the outside world. Because it's her first time out, she's still adapting to the cultural differences, he clarified. However, Hawthorne, eager to steer the conversation back to business, interjected. All right, let's get back to business. I want to invite you three to join us in a treasure dungeon, he proposed, redirecting their focus to the task at hand. Luping's curiosity was piqued at the mention of a treasure dungeon. Whispering to Annie, who was seated beside him, he inquired, Annie, do you know what a treasure dungeon is? Annie quickly explained the concept, revealing that treasure dungeons were magical spaces created by ancient powerful beings to conceal valuable items, often hidden away in remote locations. Hawthorne affirmed Annie's explanation, adding that the condition to open the barrier of the treasure dungeon was that the number of people had to reach 8. Understanding Hawthorne's intention, Luping realized, I see, so you are looking for us to make up the numbers. Annie, however, expressed reluctance, fearing the dangers of the treasure dungeon. She tearfully pleaded, Can I not go? Perplexed by Annie's reaction, Luping questioned, What's wrong? Treasure dungeons seem to be precious. Shouldn't you be happy to go? Annie explained her apprehension, citing her modest magical abilities. Brother Luping, you don't know. Treasure dungeons are usually very difficult, and I'm just a mere 4-star magician. I'm going to die if I go, she lamented. Realizing Annie's concerns, Luping admitted, Is that so? Actually, I don't know much about magic levels either. Hawthorne reassured them, emphasizing that their primary role was to help meet the number of people's condition, while the battle inside would be handled by his group. He tantalized them with the promise of a substantial reward, estimating that they could acquire tens of thousands of gold coins. Gasha, one of Hawthorne's companions, corroborated his statement by highlighting Hawthorne's formidable strength. Master single-handedly repelled several dark apostles who wanted to take Gilia a few days ago. His strength is evident, she remarked. Upon hearing about the potential prize, Annie's demeanor shifted from reluctance to excitement. A few tens of thousands of gold coins? Really? Then the church's financial problems can be solved, she exclaimed eagerly, her eyes lighting up with newfound hope. Diverting his attention towards Elizabeth, Luping eagerly suggested, Elizabeth, let's help them make up the numbers. Okay? Elizabeth, absorbed in enjoying her pudding, casually agreed. Fine, fine, fine. You make the decision. Don't bother this queen from enjoying the delicious pudding. With their agreement secured, Hawthorne quickly gestured to one of his wives, Glee, who produced a crystal ball. Surprised by the appearance of the crystal ball, Luping exclaimed, Wow, is that a crystal ball? Hawthorne explained its purpose. This is Glee's magic measurements crystal ball. You just need to put your hand on it, and it will measure your magic level. Placing his hand on the crystal ball, Hawthorne demonstrated, it visualizes the magic level into numbers. As the crystal ball reacted, displaying a number, Hawthorne announced, 8,769. I'm at the demon spirit level, a 4-star level. My wives are all 4 or 5-star grand mages. Since we are going to team up, we should know each other well and cooperate better. Annie then stepped forward to place her hand on the crystal ball, but her magic level displayed a disappointingly low number. Mocking Annie, Glee remarked, 300? I had more than this value when I first changed my job. Feeling disheartened by her low magic level, Annie apologized. I'm very sorry. My magic level just won't go up. Eager to try his luck, Luping stepped forward, excitedly placing his hand on the crystal ball. He pondered his potential, hoping for a high number due to his status as the legendary hero. However, to his surprise, the crystal ball displayed a shocking result. 0. With a disbelieving expression, Hawthorne exclaimed, 0? Even a normal person in this whole continent wouldn't be this low? Frustrated by his lack of magical ability, Luping pondered inwardly. Well, Someone like me who's been farming all my life wouldn't have magic. Feeling doomed, Lu Ping exclaimed. I'm doomed to have no magic in this life. Annoyed by Lu Ping's admission, Lolo retorted, what can you do? You can't really be of no help at all, can you? Quickly trying to prove himself, Lu Ping exclaimed, I'm good at something. I'm good at farming, as he offered the bananas he had brought along. Speaking of which, this is the fruit I harvested recently. You guys can try it. Unimpressed, Glee scoffed, ugh, typical bumpkin from a remote area. Keep them for yourself. Turning his attention to Elizabeth, Hawthorne urged, please, Princess Elizabeth, you should also try it. Lu Ping whispered to Elizabeth, Elizabeth, just cooperate with them. Hearing this, Elizabeth, who was still enjoying her pudding, seethed inwardly. Annoying. They want this queen to accompany them to play with these ignorant mortals. Elizabeth, clearly annoyed, stood up from her seat and swiftly placed her hand on the crystal ball. As soon as she touched it, the crystal ball emanated a blinding light, filling the room and momentarily blinding everyone present. Witnessing the sudden revelation of Elizabeth's immense magical prowess, Lu Ping couldn't help but feel a surge of panic. If her true identity as the Demon Queen were to be exposed, it would surely lead to chaos and unrest. Frantically gesturing towards Elizabeth, Lu Ping attempted to convey his concern. Elizabeth, he called out, hoping to draw her attention to the potential consequences of revealing her true power. Elizabeth, however, remained composed and nodded calmly in response. I know, she affirmed, her demeanor betraying none of the inner turmoil that Lu Ping felt. As Elizabeth concentrated, channeling her immense power, Lu Ping couldn't help but admire her resolve. Despite the risk, she seemed determined to face whatever challenges lay ahead. When the radiant light subsided, revealing the numerical display of Elizabeth's magic level, everyone held their breath in anticipation. The number that appeared, 8,768, was nothing short of astonishing. Annie, overwhelmed by the revelation, couldn't contain her excitement. Wow, 8,768, she exclaimed, her voice filled with awe. Just like brother, it's a demon spirit level of strength. With a mixture of shock and disbelief, Glee couldn't help but voice her astonishment. No way, this woman is also a 4-star demon spirit? She exclaimed, her tone filled with incredulity. Meanwhile, Hawthorne's admiration for Elizabeth only seemed to grow stronger. Amazing, truly worthy of being the princess of the kingdom, he declared, clearly impressed by her formidable strength. With your joining, our chance of getting the treasure will greatly increase. Curious about their next steps, Annie sought guidance from her Hawthorne. Brother, how do we go to that treasure dungeon? She inquired, eager to embark on their adventure. Responding to Annie's question, Hawthorne wasted no time in giving orders. Glee, he commanded, prompting her to take action. Without hesitation, Glee complied with her master's instructions. Yes, master, she responded dutifully. Swiftly retrieving a teleportation scroll, she expertly enchanted the spell, instantly transporting everyone into font of the dungeon. Amidst the chaos of the sudden teleportation, Lu Ping found himself struggling to maintain his balance. Ugh, ugh. I'm dizzy from the teleportation, he exclaimed, trying to regain his composure. Annie, meanwhile, looked around with a mixture of fear and curiosity. This aura is? She murmured, her voice tinged with apprehension as she took in their surroundings. Sensing the urgency of their mission, Hawthorne wasted no time in urging everyone forward. Let's not delay. Let's go into the treasure dungeon, he declared firmly, his tone leaving no room for argument. However, Elizabeth remained defiant, expressing her reluctance to proceed. I don't want to go, she remarked, turning away and preparing to leave. Lu Ping, let's go home, she added dismissively. Gasha, unimpressed by Elizabeth's sudden change of heart, wasted no time in voicing her frustration. Hey, you woman, what are you playing at? You came here and changed your mind at the last minute? She retorted, her tone accusatory. Glee chimed in, highlighting the significance of their journey. Do you know how much crystals and magic power it takes to make that teleportation scroll? She added, emphasizing the effort involved in their current situation. Julia echoed Gasha's sentiment, issuing a warning to Elizabeth. If you don't go in, don't think about leaving here either, she cautioned, her voice firm and unwavering. Elizabeth, unfazed by their remarks, responded with defiance. "Wanna try?" she mocked, her tone dripping with sarcasm as she challenged their authority. Quick to intervene, Leping stepped forward, attempting to defuse the tension. "Everyone, don't be impulsive," he urged, his voice calm yet firm. "Listen to me for a moment," he continued, turning his attention to Elizabeth. "Since you came here, Elizabeth, just take me to see it, please," he implored, hoping to persuade her to reconsider. Annie quickly interjected, "Sister Elizabeth, did you notice?" As she pointed towards the entrance, she added, "Inside the cave, there is a magic power that is very similar to yours." "A magic power that is very similar to Elizabeth's? What do you mean?" he inquired eagerly, his interest piqued by the revelation. Before Leping could receive an answer, Hawthorne stepped in, determined to persuade Elizabeth to join them. "Excuse me," he interjected, approaching Elizabeth with outstretched hand. "Trust me, no matter what danger you encounter inside, I will protect you. Please go in with me, Princess Elizabeth," he implored, his voice sincere and earnest. Despite Hawthorne's plea, Elizabeth remained nonchalant, her response casual yet dismissive. "All right, I'll join along since I rarely come out," she stated casually, completely ignoring Hawthorne's attempt to appeal to her. With a swift dismissal, she continued, "Hurry up and follow." Hawthorne, ignored and left standing alone, seethed with silent rage, his frustration evident despite his efforts to remain composed. As the group passed through the barrier and entered the gate, Leping's surprise was palpable. "Huh, the barrier closed again?" he exclaimed, reaching out to touch it. "Can't we go back the way we came?" Elizabeth swiftly clarified the situation. "In this special magic space, unless you are stronger than the person who set up the barrier, it is impossible to leave by transfer magic," she explained calmly. Continuing her stride forward, she added, "So, unless you find the target location and meet the requirements of the barrier setter, none of us can leave here." Glee couldn't contain her excitement. "Hee, as long as we have the master with us, we will definitely get that thing," she declared with enthusiasm. Gasha, however, was quick to interject. "Hey, don't talk nonsense," she retorted sharply. Annie, sensing an opportunity to learn more, asked, "Sister Julia, what do you mean by that thing?" Julia responded with a mischievous grin. "Hee, of course it's gold coins and treasure. Don't worry, you won't be left out," she assured Annie, her excitement matching Glee's. Seeking guidance, Leping inquired, "The cave's in front of us, where should we go?" Lolo proposed a suggestion. "Master, do we need to split up?" Hawthorne decided against it. "Not for now," he replied. Then, turning to Glee, he commanded, "Glee, use that move." Responding promptly, Glee acknowledged, "Yes, master." She swiftly retrieved her staff and began enchanting the spell. Multiple lights emerged, scanning and mapping the dungeon area. Confidently, she declared, "Watch me. I'll find the shortest route to the treasure in no time." However, Elizabeth remained unimpressed and smirked. "Ignorant." Suddenly, Glee staggered, panting heavily as she fell to her knees. Hawthorne's concern was evident as he exclaimed, "Glee, how is the situation in the maze?" Panting heavily, Glee responded, "Master, this maze seems to have no end. I have extended my magic to the limit, and I have not explored any trace of the edge." Upon hearing this, Gasha expressed disbelief. "No way. Glee's magic extension concentrated distance is 3 kilometers long." Julia, the elven girl, offered an alternative. "How about using my spirit divination? It's just that the accuracy rate is 34%. Meanwhile, Lolo suggested, "I suggest we split up and act in groups. I can use the clone technique." Seeing the unfolding event, Leping, in a hushed tone, questioned Elizabeth's confidence. "Elizabeth, do you really know the way out?" With unwavering assurance, Elizabeth replied, "Absolutely. This maze is merely an illusion. These naive youngsters won't escape if they insist on exploring to the end." Taken aback, Leping urged, "Then why not help them? We could repay their favor quickly." Elizabeth's tone turned colder. "No, I've had a change of heart. I prefer to witness their demise alongside you." Annie, who had been silent until now, interjected, "I believe the third cave leads to our destination." Surprised, Leping asked, "Annie, how do you know that?" Annie admitted, "Honestly, it's just a guess. but I sense a unique magic emanating from that direction. Glee countered sharply, "Rubbish. I didn't sense any magic as you claim. A mere 4-star mage shouldn't be making baseless remarks here." She directed her anger towards Annie, gesturing towards a specific tunnel. "Although I haven't explored it myself, based on previous expeditions, the last passage is likely to have the fewest monsters. Master, we should take this route." Hawthorne turned to Lolo, asking for her opinion. "What do you think?" Quickly, Lolo responded, "I still believe it's safer to proceed in smaller groups." However, Gasha had a different perspective, interjecting, "I agree with Glee. Even if we make a wrong turn, we can always backtrack together. It's the most prudent option." With determination, Glee urged, "Yes, Master. Please trust me." Gathering his thoughts, Hawthorne declared, "Very well, then we'll proceed together through the last cave." But suddenly Annie intervened, issuing a warning. "No, you can go anywhere else, but avoid the last cave." Annie swiftly performed a puppet magic on the stuffed doll she had been holding all along, bringing it to life. The doll began to walk towards the entrance of the last tunnel. But before it could enter, a giant mimic worm emerged and swiftly destroyed it. Witnessing the unexpected attack, Leping's eyes widened in shock as he exclaimed, What is that thing?" Elizabeth identified the creature, stating, "That's a parasitic beast, usually found within the bodies of large monsters." Lolo quickly redirected her attention to Glee, accusing, "You claimed there were fewer monsters over there. Don't tell me what you explored was the inside of its stomach?" Elizabeth proposed, "Let them deal with this on their own. Let's go." But Luping insisted, saying, "It would be best if you could lead the way." With a concerned expression, Annie exclaimed, "But, Sister Elizabeth, I'm not sure if that direction is right." Wait. Left alone, Lolo suggested, "Master, should I use a clone to follow them and gather information?" Hawthorne responded swiftly, "No need." After organizing his thoughts, he concluded, "We'll follow them." As they traversed the cave, they encountered and fought the monsters residing within. After clearing out one such monster, Hawthorne called out, "Have you all finished over there?" Gasha, catching her breath, replied, "I finished it, but the monsters on this path keep coming in non-stop waves." Meanwhile, Leping, hiding behind Elizabeth, asked anxiously, "Elizabeth, is it safe now?" With an annoyed expression, Elizabeth retorted, "What terrible acting." Amidst the relentless attacks, Glee lashed out, blaming Elizabeth for leading them down a path filled with monsters. "It's all your fault. Look at the road you took us on. It's crawling with monsters." With a calm yet mocking demeanor, Elizabeth replied, "The more concentrated the magic, the more monsters naturally gather. You should know this as a mage, right?" Enraged, Glee shot back, "Of course I know that, but you, a 4-star demon spirit, have the ability but stand by and watch coldly? Despicable." Elizabeth simply reminded her, "This is what you said before leaving, that you would handle the monsters we encountered." To calm the situation, Hawthorne intervened, "Glee, calm down." Unable to contain her anger, Glee muttered, "Damn it, I'm so angry." Turning his attention to Elizabeth, Hawthorne remarked, "It's okay. It's my honor to escort Her Majesty Elizabeth." Seeing this, Glee's anger intensified, and she thought to herself, "This woman not only embarrassed me but also dares to seduce my master, this bastard?" Amidst the tension, Julia suggested, "Master, why don't we rest here for a while?" Gasha echoed the sentiment, saying, "Yes, we need to rest after such a long battle." However, Elizabeth disagreed. "No, this queen doesn't have extra time to waste on you any longer." Hearing this, Lolo became enraged and retorted, "If you're so good, why don't you just continue by yourself?" Julia chimed in, adding, "That's right. If it wasn't for us blocking all kinds of monsters, could you be so relaxed?" Trying to ease the tension, Hawthorne suggested, "Miss Elizabeth, please hear me out. It's best for everyone to stay put for now. Drinking some elf potion can help restore your energy." Curious, Leping asked, "What's elf potion?" Elizabeth replied sharply, "What? Do you want to try it?" Leping chuckled, "Hee, never had it, but I'm curious. Maybe it'll spark some new ideas for my cooking." Luping added with a hopeful look, "I'm always up for trying new flavors." Observing this exchange, Elizabeth mused, Seems like you've had your fill of fancy dishes and now crave something simple. She sighed, resigned. Fine. With that settled, the group decided to take a break inside the cave. As they sat around the bonfire, Glee piped up, Giulia's elf potion is surprisingly tasty. Gasha sighed, finally recovered, but who knows how long it'll take to find the treasure. Giulia proudly displayed her potions from her spatial ring, boasting, this is my special elf potion. It can enhance all sorts of abilities. But you're already so powerful, you don't need it, do you? Hawthorne swiftly rebuked Giulia, saying, Giulia, that's not polite. Giulia nodded in acknowledgement. Yes, master. With annoyance, Giulia tossed her elf potion to Elizabeth, who simply passed it to Luping. As Luping held the potion, he exclaimed, Wow, Elizabeth, you're passing this up? Well then, I'll give it a shot. He quickly uncorked the bottle and took a sip, but his enthusiasm turned to disgust as he grimaced. Ugh. The taste of grass is overwhelming. Can't drink this. Turning to Annie, he offered, Annie, care to give it a try? Annie politely declined. Thank you, Brother Luping, but I haven't used much magic power, so I don't need it. Giulia, frustrated, muttered, Giving it to you magic amateurs is just wasting good stuff. Elizabeth, seeing Giulia's irritation, deliberately taunted. Well, if it's that worthless. Enraged, Giulia exclaimed. Damn it, you're dumping my elf potion? Elizabeth, wearing a mocking expression, retorted. Then what? I'm a queen. I can do whatever I want. Seeing the tension, Luping quickly pulled out his bag. Don't argue, don't argue. I have something for everyone. Let me find it. Hopefully it isn't crushed, he said, producing a banana. I wanted to share this with you all earlier, and now I finally have the chance. Here, senior. He swiftly divided the banana among everyone. However, Annie didn't take a piece of the banana, so Luping offered. The bananas are all shared out. Sister Annie, would you like an apple instead? He handed an apple to Annie. Annie accepted it gratefully. Are you really giving this to me? Luping responded. Yes, of course. It's just an apple. No need to get emotional. With teary eyes, Annie asked, Can I take it back to my brother and sister? The orphans at the orphanage haven't had fresh fruit in a long time. Patting Annie's head to comfort her, Luping replied, I understand. Of course you can. I'll pick more for you when I get home and make sure everyone at the orphanage gets some. I promise. Glee quickly scoffed. Who cares about this rotten fruit? Giulia chimed in. Exactly. Can this even compare to my elf potion? They both crushed the banana and tossed it away. Maintaining his calm demeanor, Hawthorne advised, Just fill your stomachs for now. When we get out, I'll treat you to something good. Lolo, Hawthorne, and Gasha began piling up the banana pieces and eating them. To their surprise, with the first bite, their eyes widened in wonder as they found themselves amidst a lively carnival scene, with colorful samba dancers twirling gracefully to the rhythm of pulsating drums, and melodious singers serenading them with soul-stirring tunes. The vibrant hues of the surroundings seemed to blur and meld together in a mesmerizing dance, as if time itself had slowed to accommodate their euphoric reverie. An overwhelming sensation of pure joy surged through their veins, igniting every fiber of their being with an indescribable ecstasy. In this moment of pure bliss, their bodies moved of their own accord, swaying and gyrating to the invisible rhythm that permeated the air. Their laughter rang out like chimes in the wind, harmonizing with the infectious melodies of their tropical sanctuary. In this enchanted realm, worries and cares melted away, replaced by an overwhelming sense of contentment and serenity. And so, amidst the lush foliage and cascading waterfalls of their imaginary paradise, Lolo, Hawthorne, and Gasha danced on, lost in the timeless embrace of their newfound euphoria. However, for Glee and Giulia, who hadn't eaten the banana, this strange scene looked awkward. With a confused expression, Giulia questioned, Master, what are you doing?